I there's a possibility there's God and spirit stuff, but I just don't believe it to be true. There's other atheists that are more like they claim it doesn't exist. I like don't believe it exists.
You don't. Oh, you mean you just don't believe that
I'm
God
more like
exists?
I'm more like agnostic, but I lean towards I don't believe that God exists, but like he could exist.
Yeah. Can you help me out though? Um, Let us assume for a second before we dive into the Christian faith, which you probably have many critiques. What's your answer to the cosmological argument for God? And if you're unfamiliar and need to be refreshed, the cosmological argument is that if we do a logical deduction backwards, if we get past matter, basically everything must have some sort of creator. Um, and it essentially reduces to, well, where did all of this stuff come from? What was the first mover?
Yeah, we don't know. Like nobody knows. I mean, people can put their guess in, but
Yeah, but wouldn't logic dictate that there was a creator? There had to have been, right? Because
no,
if you
no logic
deduce
is
it, if you deduce it backward, it's a contradiction to say that there could be creation absent a creator. And you can't say that something always
wait up.
existed because that would also be a
So
logical contradiction, right?
so logic is just something that we created to use as a tool.
No, that can't be true because if logic is a human construction, then you would have to be able to tell me that we can change the
No,
laws
what do
of
you mean?
logic.
No, I know it's just descriptive, right? So we've
No, it's not
realized how the
descriptive.
world operates, and we realize that there can't be a contradiction.
Nope,
Yeah, it
nope,
is descriptive.
no, no. It's not
Because without
descriptive.
anything existing,
It's a metaphysical truth. If it's just a descriptor and it's a human construction, then you should be able to change the laws of logic. Why can't you change them?
no, the same thing with the laws of nature, right? Like gravity and stuff like that.
No,
We
it's not
figured
the
out what it
same.
is. We don't set the gravity. We just figured it out.
No, no,
It's the
no,
same
no,
thing.
no. Gravity is not a descriptive claim of anything. That's a material force which we can measure. You can't
Yeah,
measure
it's
logic.
descriptive. It's descriptive. The laws of nature are descriptive. We're just pointing out what we were observing. We
Okay,
don't have
okay,
any.
but hang on, hang on. If you're just pointing out what you're observing, then that would mean that the laws of logic were true.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's why people
if they're
hold. That's why
true,
people hold to them.
yeah, if they're true, you can't point to them. They're metaphysical, correct?
Yeah, because they're a tool people use. Without people,
No, they're
there's
not.
no
Well, they
logic.
can't just be a tool because there must be some ontological nature.
Without
You
people,
can't
there
just
is no
change it.
logic. Wait, but nobody uses logic if there's no people. It's just
No, no. In fact, the laws of logic would still necessarily have to exist absent people.
no,
If
they
there
wouldn't.
was no
Because okay, so
people,
let's say there was nothing that was alive, not
hmm
even animals or anything,
yep,
right?
the laws of logic would still
There,
have to exist.
no, it would just be a something that
Nope, nope.
was
Well, listen, I'll give you the argument. The laws of logic would still have to exist even absent people, unless you can
no,
tell
but it's
me,
just a descriptor.
bro. You won't
Like
even
if
let
there
me
wasn't,
give the argument. Do you even
yeah,
want me
go
to give
ahead.
the argument?
Sure.
So they must still exist because a contradiction still couldn't exist even absent people.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing about mathematics. You could say that
That's
there could
right.
still
That yep,
four out
those
of
are
three.
metaphysical truths that exist even absent the human
No, they're
mind.
not. They were actually things that we've discovered.
Yeah,
They didn't always have
discovered means
mathematics.
that they existed absent us.
No, it's a descriptive. It's like
It's not
a
descriptive,
tool.
it's
It is a
discovered.
tool. It's a way we measure. It's pretty much just a tool we use.
No, it's not just a tool we use. It's a
Okay, so why are you pointing it
discovery.
back?
Well,
Okay, so
listen, I'm trying to get into it with you. You're trying to claim that the laws of logic would not exist absent human thought, and I'm telling you that they actually have to. A contradiction still could not exist absent human thought. The law of
it's a
excluded
descriptor.
middle still could not exist absent human thought. And the law of identity still would have to exist absent human
Yeah,
thought.
it's
All of
something
those
that
things would
we
have to
observed
exist.
about the. It's a truth about the world that we observed and we use as a tool, right? Because if we know the laws of logic, excluded middle, non-contradiction,
Hmm.
and the law of identity,
You mean these things that we discovered, which were
these
already
are tools
metaphysical
that we
truth?
use to. These are tools that we use to see if things are real because we've realized that these things are they are they repeatedly give you correct answers.
No, they exist though. They have to exist because you just
Yeah,
said
and
we
they
just
help you.
bro. You got to let me talk and just let you talk. They must exist because they're discovered. So absent human thought, they still exist. A contradiction cannot exist even if no humans are around to perceive a contradiction cannot exist.
Yeah, so um, it, concepts don't exist without a mind, so there wouldn't be a concept of logic. But
That's
I
not a
mean,
concept though. It's a law.
yeah, it is. I mean,
Would
it's not a
gravity
law.
not
So
would gravity not
hold on.
exist absent the human mind?
I mean, there would be no identification of what gravity was.
Yeah, but that's not my question.
It would just just a description. Yeah. So it doesn't
No, it's
matter.
not a description. It the law it would
Yes, it
still
is.
exist even so rocks wouldn't exist without your mind.
Rocks would exist.
Okay, rocks would exist and gravity would exist absent your mind, right?
Yep.
Because it's a
So
law, right?
we observe
So
these
so the
things.
laws
No.
of logic would
Yeah,
also
we
bro, you got to let me finish, but the laws of logic would also exist absent your mind.
no, look at, but if we're just going to the natural side, right? If we observe gravity and say, okay, this is descriptive of what's in the universe to figure out if it's true, it doesn't mean that we've created gravity or we can have any way to necessarily tweak the gravity.
That's right, because it exists even absent your mind. That's the point.
So it's descriptive. We're just
It's
writing
not
down
descriptive.
what we see.
Listen, it's you're giving a descriptor to what it is, but it exists even absent the descriptor.
Right. But there's no laws of these laws that you're talking about are
There's no
the
laws of
descriptives.
logic.
There's there without people.
No, there actually has to be without people. Otherwise, why don't you tell me how you
Oh
can
my god.
change the law of logic even absent
Because you
people?
wouldn't use it. It's a tool people use. I mean,
No,
that's
well that's
easy as it
true,
is.
but just because people use it doesn't
And there's
mean
people
it.
that are illogical too that don't use logic.
Well,
Not and
well,
all the
well
things you
no,
do,
no.
but people
All
that are
all
logical.
all people still have to utilize the laws of logic. They
Yeah,
cannot be
some people aren't
changed.
that smart and they actually believe in things that are
Yeah, but you're
illogical.
you're talking about rational versus irrational, not the laws of logic themselves. The laws of logic themselves are immutable. They
No, I'm
cannot
saying some
be.
people are illogical. They might have a belief that isn't based off logic. Logic is a tool that we use.
Yeah, but
Not
I'm
everybody
not
uses it.
talking
Hopefully they
about
would.
people utilizing the process of logical argumentation or
Just in
modus
general.
ponens. I'm talking about the actual laws which govern logic themselves. That those are
Okay, so
actual
who do you think
laws.
created these laws? Let's go there. Who do you think created
Well,
these
yeah, so
laws?
this is where I'm trying to get to is that if your epistemology is, well, the laws of logic exist because we use them, then I have to dispute this and say the laws of logic exist even if you do not use them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that you could say the same thing with language. Oh, because people
No, there's no
speak
laws of
language.
language which exist out absent human mind.
Neither is there mathematics.
No, mathematics is something which is discovered, so mathematics would exist even absent the human mind. One
No,
plus one would
mathematics is
always
a
equal two,
concept.
even absent your mind.
No, you wouldn't be able to add them without a mind.
You wouldn't,
What are you
yeah,
talking about? You wouldn't be able to add two
bro,
plus two if there
bro,
was no mind.
you wouldn't need to, even if there was no human mind to interpret that one plus
No,
one
but
equal.
mathematics would not exist.
Bro, calm down. Even if there was no human, bro, calm down. Even if there was,
Yeah, mathematics would not exist without anybody present. So mathematics is not.
he just kicked me.
Um, I get it. He's trying to say, oh, two plus two will always be four. Even, but you can't plus. You won't have two plus anything without a mind. So,
Couldn't even get to
anyways,
it. We
you
couldn't
could
even get
believe
to
that
it.
these laws of logic came from God. I believe they came from people over time, and this is
Couldn't even
a
get
tool
to it.
that
The
people
second we
use
start to
to
get into the
verify
argument,
when things are true, to make sense. And like I try to tell him, some people are illogical in their views. So it
doesn't
doesn't mean that
matter.
people are just naturally, use logic.
It
It's a
doesn't
tool.
matter.
It's something that
It doesn't matter. What a fucking idiot. No, that's not what the argument is. The argument is not moving into whether or not the laws of logic are socially constructed or not. It's called the transcendental argument. So we were moving from the cosmological argument to the transcendental argument, but we couldn't get anywhere because he can't give an accounting for those laws. So he just kicked me instead. Very typical, by the way, when you start getting into it.